Hi, I'm Julene, and I'm here to let you know that if you are having relationship problems, I can help. I can help because as an astrologer, I can look at your chart and find your relationship dynamics and figure out what you can do to work them at a higher octave. And also I can help because I've been there myself. But what I want to do first here is I really want to tell you my story because I used to attract jealous, possessive, control freaks all the time. I mean, this goes way back to the first boyfriend that I had in ninth grade who didn't want me to wear makeup because he didn't want another boy at school to look at me. And it became this pattern that I carried through to my relationships where I was constantly letting the other person tell me what to do or how to be or how to behave. And that's really not a good pattern to get into. I decided that I needed to change this pattern back when I started teaching at IAA. And I taught online, and I was married at the time to the biggest jealous possessive control freak that I had, right? Because each time they just got worse and worse and worse. Well, this is the universe's way of saying, hey, wake up and do something about it, and I'm going to deliver you a worse relationship every time until you get the idea. Well, so this particular person didn't want me to do anything at all without them. I mean, they were up my behind 24/7. And, I would just turn around and, oh, there he was. I couldn't do anything by myself. And when I started teaching astrology, of course, I was doing that by myself. So he didn't like it. And if I had any male students, he would accuse me of having some kind of cyber affair with them, and he didn't want me to teach. And this is when I realized that I couldn't go on like this anymore because I loved teaching astrology. That's what fulfilled my soul, right? I mean, I had a job. I was working at Ford Motor Company. I had a really good job. I had great benefits. It was a good hourly paycheck. So it, provided the things I needed, but it didn't do anything for my soul. Teaching astrology did something for my soul. It filled me up. It made me feel good about being me. And it was a talent that I had that I wanted to share, with the world. And I wasn't about to let this person stop me from doing it. We did try marriage counseling. It did not work because I was the only one that wanted to change. He wasn't going to change his pattern. He was right. I was wrong. I was doing all these things that he thought I was doing, which I wasn't. And if you've been there, you know what I mean. So anyway, so that didn't work, so I ended that relationship. And I had actually sworn off relationships for a long time. I'm like, forget it. I don't even want to get in another relationship with anyone. I was by myself for 2 years. And during that time, I was really looking at my astrology chart and my patterns. And I understood. I understood in my chart the dynamic that kept bringing me these jealous, possessive control freaks. And through the understanding of that and through realizing that I could work that energy at a higher octave, I was able to change that pattern. It was about 2 years later when I attracted or started dating the husband that I have now. And we have been together for 7 years. And we have an absolutely incredible relationship. This is the best relationship of my life. I mean, I do on occasion travel to different states speaking. And he doesn't come with me. He's back at home working. I'm off on my own, traveling, lecturing on astrology. And that's fine with him. I don't get, oh, who are you talking to? And what are you doing? And who's there? Any of those crazy things. There's no accusations. There's no drama. There's no drama around me doing what I love to do. He completely supports me in my career and is behind me 100%. And God, that's such a relief. That is such a relief after the horrific string of nightmarish jealous possessive control freaks that I had. So I want to be able to do that for you. Whatever your relationship pattern is, whatever it is that you keep attracting into your life that is unhealthy, I want to look at your chart and I want to talk with you and I want to understand, where this is coming from so that we can change some of the outworn beliefs and paradigms and things that you have that continually attract these things. And a lot of it comes with working on yourself, because the other person fulfills the other half of our pattern. We all have a relationship pattern, and we attract who's going to fulfill the other side. Whatever we don't own in ourselves that we project onto someone else, that's what we attract. So what we do is we integrate within ourselves these things that we keep projecting onto others, so that we don't attract that anymore, because that's not the other half of our pattern, right? We don't have to attract that other half of our pattern anymore. So the signals we send out changes, because we have changed. And this is what I want to do for you, and this is what I can do for you, and I know that I can do it for you because I've done it for myself. There's something to be said about Chiron, and Chiron is a centaur that represents the wounded healer, for the most part. He also represents the pieces of ourselves that we feel are unacceptable, that we kind of cut off from the ego and don't identify with. And those things become projected onto others in our relationships, because the point is we are supposed to learn to integrate them. So through my own Chiron story and my own which relates to my own relationship saga of what I continually put out to attract, I can help. The vertex also has to do with what we put out into the universe and attract back from someone else. Mercury is how we communicate in our relationship. Venus is what we find attractive and beautiful and sensual. It also has to do with our self-worth to some extent and what we attach ourselves to. Mars is about the passion we want in our relationship, and it's also fighting. So if you are fighting and then having makeup sex, well, that's all the same archetype, right? It's the same energy. The passion and the fighting and the sex it's all Mars. So I'm going to address those things as well as the nodes in the reading with you. So I'm offering a relationship consultation with you. It's $125, and it will take place over the phone. We are going to talk and we are going to dialogue, and it'll last for an hour. I'll do a ton of prep work ahead of time. I may have some questions for you in the email first, things like that before we actually get together and talk, so that I completely understand where you're at and where you're coming from, and we will spend the entire hour working on what you can do to change. I wish you all the best relationships in the world, and I will be happy to help you achieve that.